What's up everyone, welcome back to GeoVenture. When you think of Japan, what comes to mind? Is it massive skyscrapers, incredible sushi, or maybe even ancient samurai warriors? Well, what if I told you that's just scratching the surface? Seriously, what you think you know about Japan is nothing compared to what we're about to show you. Today, we're going on an insane journey across the entire country, from the snowy north to the tropical south, and I'm going to show you 10 cultural facts that will completely blow your mind. You literally won't see Japan the same way again after this. We're not just staying in Tokyo. We are exploring every corner of Japan to uncover traditions and customs that most tourists never, ever get to see. I'm talking about ancient indigenous ceremonies, gigantic glowing parade floats that take over entire cities, secret culinary traditions, and so much more. Let's get right into it. Our first stop is the northernmost island of Japan, Hokkaido. Alright, first up, we're in Hokkaido, the massive snowy island at the very top of Japan. Most people know it for skiing and amazing ramen, but there's a secret here that goes back thousands of years. Before the Japanese we know today, this land was home to the Ainu people, the indigenous group of northern Japan, and their culture is unlike anything else in the country. For centuries, their existence was almost erased from history, but now, there's a powerful movement to bring their traditions back to life, and it's absolutely incredible to witness. The Ainu have their own language, their own religion, and their own unique art forms. One of the most fascinating things is their spiritual beliefs. They believe that gods, or kamui, exist in everything around them: animals, plants, fire, even tools. A bear isn't just a bear, it's a god visiting the human world. This belief shapes their entire way of life, especially in their ceremonies. The most famous and controversial was the Iomante, a ritual where a bear cub was raised in the village as a deity and then sent back to the divine world. Their art is also instantly recognizable. The women are famous for their intricate embroidery on traditional robes called atus, which are made from the bark of elm trees. The patterns are not just for decoration, they are powerful spiritual symbols meant to protect the wearer from evil spirits. Seeing these traditions being practiced today, hearing the Ainu language spoken and listening to their epic oral histories, it feels like uncovering a lost world. What's really crazy is how close this culture came to disappearing completely. The Japanese government only officially recognized the Ainu as an indigenous people in 2019. That's not 1919, that's 2019. For generations, they were forced to assimilate, to hide their language and their customs. Now, visiting places like the Upapoi National Ainu Museum and Park, you can see a proud community fighting to reclaim their heritage. It's a powerful reminder that Japan's identity is far more diverse and complex than most of us ever imagined. Okay, from the quiet traditions of the Ainu, we're heading south to the Tohoku region for something loud. Every single summer, the city of Aomori explodes in one of the most spectacular festivals on the entire planet, the Nabuta Matsuri. Forget everything you think you know about parades. This is on a completely different level. For 1 week in August, the streets are taken over by massive three-dimensional paper floats, some of them up to 30 feet tall and 60 feet wide. These aren't just floats, they are colossal illuminated works of art depicting fierce warriors, gods, and mythical beasts from Japanese history and folklore. The sheer scale of these things is impossible to understand until you see it. Each float, called a nebuta, is built by hand over the course of an entire year by teams of master craftsmen. They start with a wooden base, build a complex frame out of wire, and then painstakingly cover it with thousands of pieces of washi paper. The paper is then hand-painted with incredible detail and vibrant colors. At night, they light them up from the inside, and they glow with this intense, almost supernatural energy. It's like watching giant mythical beings come to life and march through the city, but it's not just about watching. The entire city participates. The floats are pushed through the streets by dozens of people surrounded by thousands of dancers called haneto. The haneto wear special costumes and chant "Rasera, Rasera" as they dance and jump wildly. And here's the craziest part, anyone can join in. If you rent or buy the traditional haneto costume, you can just jump into the parade and dance with one of the floats. It's not a performance for tourists, it's a massive, chaotic, and joyful celebration that sweeps everyone up in its energy. The origin of the festival is a bit of a mystery, but one popular legend says it started with a shogun who used giant scary figures and loud noises to frighten his enemies in battle. Over the centuries, that military tactic evolved into this incredible folk festival. Standing there, with the sound of the drums and flutes, the chants of the dancers, and these glowing paper giants towering over you is a core memory. It's pure, unadulterated spectacle, and it's a side of Japanese culture that is anything but quiet and reserved. Alright, let's jump to the Kanto region, home to the biggest city in the world, Tokyo. You've seen the busy crosswalks and the neon lights, but Tokyo is also the undisputed king of quirky, hyper-specific subcultures. And nothing, I mean nothing, represents this better than the world of themed cafes. We're not just talking about cat cafes anymore, that's old news. In Tokyo, you can find a cafe for literally any interest you can imagine, no matter how bizarre. Want to have coffee while being surrounded by owls? There's a cafe for that. How about playing with adorable hedgehogs or even otters? Yep, there are cafes for those too. Maybe you're more into something a little darker? You can visit a vampire-themed cafe where you're served by staff in gothic attire in a room filled with coffins and candelabras. Or you could go to a maid cafe, where waitresses dressed in elaborate maid costumes treat you as the master or princess of their home. It's a level of fantasy and escapism that is baked right into the city's social fabric. These cafes are more than just a gimmick, they are a fascinating window into Japanese society. In a culture that can be very formal and reserved, these spaces offer an outlet for fantasy, play, and connection over a shared niche interest. They are third spaces where people can de-stress and indulge in a very specific type of kawaii, that's cuteness, or fantasy. For a few hundred yen, you're not just buying a cup of coffee, you're buying an experience, an entry into a temporary curated world that is completely different from your everyday life. I actually went to a hedgehog cafe, and it was one of the most surreal experiences of my life. You get a little pair of gloves, and they place this tiny, spiky creature in your hands, and you just sit there and hang out with it. It's so weirdly calming. The people around you are all just quietly enjoying this strange, adorable moment. It shows how in a city as massive and sometimes anonymous as Tokyo, people find connection and joy in the most unexpected and highly specific ways. It's a custom that is pure, wonderful 21st century Japan. Leaving the hyper-modern world of Tokyo behind, we're now heading into the heart of Japan, the Chubu region. This area is known for its stunning mountains, the Japanese Alps, and for preserving some of the country's most ancient crafts. Here, in quiet, rural villages, artisans are still practicing a technique that is over 1,300 years old, the art of making washi paper. And this isn't just any paper. Washi is so strong, so durable, and so beautiful that it's been used for everything from calligraphy and art to building the walls of traditional Japanese homes. The process of making washi by hand is, honestly, kind of insane. It's incredibly labor-intensive and has been passed down through generations. It starts with harvesting the bark of specific trees like the kozo or mulberry tree, which is done in the cold winter months. The bark is then steamed, stripped, cleaned, and pounded into a pulp. This pulp is mixed with water and a gooey substance from the root of the Tororo aoi plant, which helps suspend the fibers evenly in the water. This meticulous preparation is what gives washi its legendary strength and longevity. The most magical part of the process is watching a master artisan at work. They dip a bamboo screen into the vat of pulp and water, and in a series of graceful, rocking motions, they lift the screen, allowing the water to drain away while a thin, perfect sheet of fibers forms on top. It looks like a dance, a fluid motion that takes years, even decades, to perfect. Each sheet is then carefully laid out to dry on wooden boards in the sun. The final product feels alive, it's warm to the touch, slightly translucent, and far stronger than Western paper made from wood pulp. This isn't just a dying craft for history books. Washi is a UNESCO intangible cultural heritage, and it's still highly valued in Japan today. Artists use it for painting and printmaking, bookbinders use it for its durability, and architects use it for shoji screens that diffuse light beautifully in homes and temples. Some documents written on washi from over 1,000 years ago are still in perfect condition. In a world of digital screens and disposable products, there's something really profound about this tradition. A commitment to patience, natural materials, and creating something beautiful that will literally stand the test of time. Okay, food time. We are now in the Kansai region, an area famous for its vibrant, outgoing people and most importantly, its unbelievable food scene. While Tokyo might be known for fine dining, Kansai, and especially the city of Osaka, is the undisputed champion of Kuidaor, which literally translates to eat until you drop. And the king of Osaka street food, the one dish that defines the city's soul, is takoyaki. These are the little golden brown balls of batter filled with octopus that you might have seen before. But I promise you, you don't know the real story behind them. Takoyaki is more than just a snack in Osaka. It's a cultural obsession. People are fiercely passionate about it. There are hundreds, maybe even thousands of takoyaki stands all over the city, from tiny carts in alleyways to famous shops with lines stretching around the block. Every vendor has their own secret recipe for the batter, their own special sauce, and their own unique technique. Locals will argue for hours about which shop is the absolute best. It's a culinary rivalry that is taken very, very seriously. Watching them make it is mesmerizing. They pour the batter into a special cast iron pan with rows of half-spherical molds. They drop in a piece of taco or octopus, some pickled ginger and green onion. Then comes the magic. Using two small metal picks, the vendor rapidly, almost violently, flips and turns the balls, tucking in the batter to form perfect spheres. Their hands move in a blur. It's a high-speed performance that takes incredible skill to master. The result is a ball that's crispy on the outside and almost molten and creamy on the inside. But the real secret, the thing that honestly makes Osaka's takoyaki culture so special, is that it's a food meant to be shared. It's common for families and friends to have takoyaki parties or takapa at home, where everyone gathers around a tabletop takoyaki grill and makes their own. It's a social ritual, it's loud, it's messy, and it's a ton of fun. It perfectly captures the warm, communal, and fun-loving spirit of Osaka. It's not just food, it's a symbol of connection. From the chaos of the city, we're now traveling to the Chugoku region for something serene and deeply spiritual. Just off the coast of Hiroshima is Miyajima Island, which translates to Shrine Island. For centuries, the entire island has been considered a god, a sacred space. And at its entrance stands one of the most iconic and breathtaking sights in all of Japan, the floating torii gate of Itsukushima Shrine. You've probably seen pictures of it, a giant vermilion gate that seems to magically hover on the surface of the water. The visual effect is absolutely stunning, but it's not magic. It's brilliant design and a deep understanding of nature. The gate is built in a small cove, and during high tide, the water of the Seto Inland Sea rises to cover the gate's foundations, creating the illusion that it's floating. Then a few hours later, at low tide, the water recedes completely, and you can actually walk right out onto the seabed and stand at the base of this colossal structure. It's a place that completely transforms twice a day, every day. The gate itself is massive, standing over 50 feet tall. What's even crazier is that it isn't buried in the seabed. It stands on its own, held in place by its own weight. This is a testament to the incredible ingenuity of its builders from over 800 years ago. The shrine itself is also built out over the water on stilts, connected by long, covered walkways. The whole complex is designed to appear as if it's floating between the sea and the sky, a sacred space separating the human world from the realm of the gods. Standing there as the tide comes in, watching the gate slowly become an island, is a profoundly peaceful and spiritual experience. It represents a core concept in the Shinto religion, the harmony between humanity, nature, and the divine. The gate isn't fighting the sea, it works with it. It embraces the daily rhythm of the tides. The wild deer that roam freely all over the island, considered messengers of the gods, only add to the mystical atmosphere. It's a place where the line between the physical and the spiritual feels incredibly thin. Get ready for this one, because we're heading to one of the most remote and mysterious parts of Japan, the Iwaiye Valley on the island of Shikoku. This is a place of deep gorges, misty mountains, and ancient secrets. For centuries, this valley was so isolated that it developed its own unique culture. And across the raging rivers that cut through the mountains, the people here built something that looks like it's straight out of an Indiana Jones movie. Bridges woven entirely from mountain vines. These aren't just little rope bridges, they are functional historical structures known as kazurabashi. The most famous ones, like the Iwaiye Kazurabashi, are over 140 feet long and hang suspended nearly 50 feet above the river below. They are made from a special type of hardy mountain vine called Shirakuchi Kazura. Every 3 years the community comes together to rebuild the bridges, a process that involves harvesting tons of vines and using ancient weaving techniques to create a structure that is both flexible and, honestly, incredibly strong. Walking across one is a terrifying and exhilarating experience. The wooden slats on the floor of the bridge are spaced wide apart so you can see the rushing river directly beneath your feet. With every step, the entire bridge sways and creaks. It feels fragile, like it could give way at any moment, but these bridges have been used by locals for centuries. Holding onto the thick vine railings, you feel a direct connection to the history and the raw nature of this place. The origin of these bridges is shrouded in legend. One story says they were built by a defeated clan of warriors who were hiding out in the valley. The idea was that if they were ever attacked, they could quickly cut the vines and destroy the bridge, trapping their enemies. Whether that's true or not, these bridges are a symbol of human ingenuity in the face of a harsh environment. They represent a way of life that is completely in tune with the mountains, using only what nature provides to survive and thrive in one of Japan's last hidden frontiers. If you thought the Nobuta Matsuri was intense, you haven't seen anything yet. We're now on Japan's southern island of Kyushu, in the city of Fukuoka, for the Hakata Gion Yamakasa Festival. This is not a parade, this is a race. A full-on, high-speed, adrenaline-fueled race where teams of men, and only men, carry one-ton floats through the narrow streets of the city at dawn. It is honestly one of the most physically demanding and dangerous festivals in the entire country, and it is absolutely insane to watch. There are two types of floats. The Kazuriyama are massive, elaborately decorated floats, sometimes over 30 feet tall, that are displayed around the city for decoration. But the ones used in the race are the Kakiyama. These are the smaller floats, weighing around 1 metric ton, but built for speed. On the final day of the festival, at 4:59 a.m. exactly, the first team hoists their Kakiyama onto their shoulders and takes off, sprinting through a designated 5-kilometer course. A new team starts every 5 minutes, racing against the clock. The energy is electric. The streets are packed with spectators, even at that crazy hour in the morning. The men carrying the float, dressed only in traditional loincloths called shimikomi, chant, "Oisa, Oisa," in a thunderous roar. As they run, spectators douse them and the float with buckets of water to cool them down, and, according to tradition, to purify them. The teams are divided by the 7 traditional districts of Hakata, and the rivalry between them is incredibly fierce. This is about honor, tradition, and neighborhood pride. This festival has a history stretching back over 770 years. It began as a religious ritual to pray for protection from a plague. The act of carrying the float through the city was originally a form of prayer. Today it has evolved into this unbelievably intense spectacle of strength and endurance. Seeing the raw power, the teamwork, and the sheer determination on the faces of the men as they sprint with this massive weight on their shoulders is something you will never forget. It's a visceral, powerful display of community spirit that feels ancient and incredibly alive. For our next fact, we're going as far south as we can, to the tropical islands of Okinawa. For a long time, Okinawa wasn't even part of Japan. It was the independent Ryukyu Kingdom, with its own language, its own culture, and its own unique traditions. This distinct history has had a massive impact on modern Japan, especially in one surprising area, the music scene. The unique sounds and rhythms of Okinawa have blended with modern pop and rock to create a style that has captivated the entire nation. The foundation of Okinawan music is an instrument called the sanshin. It's a 3-stringed instrument, kind of similar to a banjo, traditionally covered in snakeskin. Its sound is instantly recognizable. It's bright, cheerful, and has a distinctive island vibe. This sound is paired with a unique Okinawan folk music scale, which is different from the scales used in mainland Japanese music. It gives the melodies a feeling that is simultaneously nostalgic and celebratory. You'll hear it everywhere in Okinawa, from traditional performances to pop songs on the radio. In the 1990s, Okinawan music exploded onto the national stage. Artists and bands like Rinken Band, The Boom, whose song Shima Yutia became a massive hit, and later, artists like Naomi Amuro, who became the queen of J-pop, brought Okinawan influences to the mainstream. They mixed the traditional sounds of the sanshin and Okinawan drumming, called Aisa, with rock, pop, and reggae, creating a fresh, exciting hybrid sound. It was honestly a cultural phenomenon. This musical fusion is a powerful expression of Okinawan identity. The lyrics often speak of peace, love for one's island home, and the sorrows of Okinawa's difficult history, including the devastating Battle of Okinawa in World War II. The music is a way of preserving their Ryukyuan heritage, while also creating something new and modern. It's a testament to the resilience and vibrant spirit of the Okinawan people, and it's a perfect example of how one of Japan's regional cultures has had a profound and lasting influence on the entire country's pop culture landscape. For our final main fact, we're zooming out to look at a custom that you can find all across Japan, no matter which region you're in. It's something so fundamental to the culture that it's almost like breathing, the art of bowing. To an outsider, it might just look like a simple gesture of respect, but in reality, it's an incredibly complex and nuanced form of non-verbal communication. The depth, duration, and angle of a bow can convey a huge range of emotions and social information, from a casual greeting to a profound apology. There are different types of bows for every situation. There's the eishaku, a small 15-degree nod of the head, which is used as an informal greeting for people of equal social standing. Then there's the kairai, a more formal 30-degree bow, used to show respect to a superior, like a boss or a client. And then there's the saikairai, the deepest and most formal bow at 45 to 90 degrees. This bow is used for sincere apologies to show the utmost respect, or when praying at a shrine. Getting it wrong can be a major social faux pas. It's not just the angle, the duration matters too. A quick bow is casual, while a longer bow shows more sincerity and respect. The etiquette is so detailed that department store employees in Japan are trained in exactly how to bow to customers. Even on the phone, you can often hear the other person bowing as the physical act changes the tone of their voice. It's a physical manifestation of the Japanese concepts of social hierarchy, humility, and respect. It's a language all on its own. Another related custom is gift giving, or zodo. Giving and receiving gifts is a huge part of Japanese social and business life. But again, it's filled with complex rules. The way a gift is wrapped is often more important than the gift itself. Gifts are almost never opened in front of the giver to avoid any potential embarrassment if the reaction isn't perfect. And when you receive a gift, you are socially obligated to give one back of roughly half the value. These customs, bowing and gift-giving, are the invisible threads that hold the fabric of Japanese society together, emphasizing harmony, respect, and the importance of the group over the individual. And there you have it, 10 facts that show just how incredibly diverse and deep Japanese culture really is, from the ancient Ainu to the high-speed Yamakasa race. We literally traveled the entire country to bring you these stories. Japan is so much more than the stereotypes, and I hope this video opened your eyes to some of the amazing regional traditions that make it such a special place. I honestly have a newfound respect for the depth of this culture after making this. But, as I promised, I have one more bonus fact for you. Let's talk about something you'll find in almost every modern Japanese home, hotel, and even public restroom: the futuristic toilet. These things are insane. They have heated seats, built-in bidets with adjustable water pressure and temperature, warm air dryers, and even sound effects called Otoheim, or Sound Princess, that play a flushing noise to cover any embarrassing sounds. It's a level of comfort and consideration that perfectly sums up modern Japanese ingenuity. So, what was your favorite fact from our journey across Japan? Was it the terrifying vine bridges, the giant glowing floats, or something else? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one. And if you want to join me on more insane cultural deep dives like this one, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next adventure. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.